All right. Remember what she said? Kinda. Oh, right. We're gonna not be pussyfooting around anymore. Yeah, we're gonna get on with this, okay? Here we go. When you have faith in God, sometimes God will ask you to do something, and you'll be like, "What? What?" Did, yeah, I remember she cried. Remember? Yeah, she cried a lot. Um, but you know, sometimes God will ask you to do something. He'll take you into the wilderness, and it's all a test of your faith. But it don't seem like that at first. It don't seem like it's a test of your faith. What it seems like, what the enemy wants you to think, right? Yeah, yeah, it's the enemy. Yeah, the enemy wants you to think, oh, there ain't no God helping you, or where's your God, huh? How come you're going through this then? Exactly. Yeah, that's what the enemy does. The enemy will make you want to just give up and start being angry with God and questioning God and telling God, why would you let this happen? That's right. But it ain't that way. This is the enemy gets to come up on you and do this stuff so that he can say, see, God, I told you he didn't have no faith in you. But we know that the enemy is on the prowl, and we know that that's his main goal is to turn you away from God, to far away from God as he can. But we ain't got to let that happen. We ain't gonna let it happen no more. That's right. So that's the first thing people need to know is that when you come into God's world, when you come into God's hands, when you come into wanting to be part of God's kingdom, right? Yeah, you got to be ready because just be ready, man, because sometimes it ain't, it's opposite what you think whenever you go to God. You think it's going to be all good, but it's, uh, it's a test. That's right. That's a test of your faith. And so when you turn to God and things kind of start getting like going downhill a little bit, that's the enemy. That's the enemy saying, ha ha, told you God ain't going to help you, ha ha. And the enemy just wants you to agree with him and start being angry and ugly to God. And there's the separation. That's right. You got to be strong. You got to be strong and have faith. And you got to say, I rebuke you, devil. Get on back. You got to just be pushing through that, pushing through them thoughts, pushing through that talk, because that's the enemy. Yep, that's the enemy, all right. Yeah, I noticed you pushed your hat back by yourself. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty, really cool. So back to what we were talking about. Well, it's important that we all stop the separation from God. This religion stuff has got to stop. Yeah, it's the same God we're all praying to, and He just wants to be worshipped and He wants us to love one another. That's right. And I think it's important that we help each other instead of trying to harm each other and trying to separate people. And you know, this conversation is about our faith in God and why we are still standing and why we are able to stay here and do this. Because if it weren't for God, no, we wouldn't be here. We'd be probably buried somewhere, or I don't even. Yeah, God is definitely good. Yes, God is good, and prayer is good. Um, then people, yeah, yeah. So, okay, so some people have been having trouble with knowing how to pray, and we just want to let you know that if you just go in and sit down in a quiet place and you open your heart to God and you tell God that, God, I love you, but I don't even know how to pray, and I don't even know if I'm what I'm doing or how to, or if I'm doing it right. And I promise you will get a feeling in your heart that lets you know, yeah, he heard you and he's right there. And that's when you start your prayer. That's when you started to pray.